Thank you very much.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Délano, and as it was mentioned, I will be talking about how long COVID has affected the job performance of healthcare workers. Now, I'm pretty sure I do not need to explain what COVID-19 is. We probably lived through the pandemic. We probably caught it at some time and have a personal experience with it. But how about long COVID? Long COVID is a multisystemic disease that happens when you still have symptoms 3 months after being infected with COVID-19. Now, these symptoms have a wide variety, but they have been mainly described as being fatigue, meaning being extremely tired after doing a small activity, and even being unable to get out of bed. The also symptom that has been greatly described is the cognitive impairments, especially brain fog, meaning memory loss, and having difficulty in making quick and fast decisions. Of course, these symptoms affect our day-to-day activities, especially our adult activity, which is working. Now, even though this is a very kind of unknown syndrome, it has affected over 400 people worldwide. But what happens when the person who's unable to remember something is your doctor? Or those who are unable to make quick decisions are your surgeons in the middle of your operation? Healthcare workers were fighting during the front line through the pandemic, which means that they had a higher occupational risk of catching COVID-19 and therefore of developing long COVID. Now, most studies have focused on doctors and nurses, but we wanted to see everyone involved in healthcare, meaning maintenance staff, security staff, ITs, and everyone involved there. So we went and saw how many people were affected. We found out that 5% of healthcare workers in Spain have been diagnosed with long COVID. Different to the literature, we found out that nurse assistants are one of the groups that are more affected by it, but also maintenance and administrative staff. Now, these are just numbers, so they don't give us really that much information. So we went and asked them how long COVID was affecting them. We found out that many of almost all the healthcare workers that we asked, they had not been diagnosed with long COVID, even if they had symptoms after 3 months, after several years since they were infected with COVID-19. Another particularity of healthcare workers was that they felt that taking a sick leave was seen as a failing as a healthcare worker. So they felt that they were abandoning ship and they're leaving their colleagues stranded through the pandemic. This matches what we found out related to returning to work, where healthcare workers felt that they needed to get back to work as soon as possible, returning even if they were not feeling 100% recovered. Now, one of the main issues that arose was the work support that they received. This could be positive or negative. When it was positive, they were able to get accommodations to their symptoms. They were able to have a more flexible work schedule. And they also had a negative impact, which was being disbelief, since this is a still very unknown syndrome, and even being blamed for being sick or that they were just making a big deal out of nothing. This skepticism was mostly focused on colleagues and supervisors, which means that they had a negative impact when the healthcare worker affected with long COVID will return to work. Now, and this is something that's a little bit more controversial, but it actually makes a little bit of sense, which is that healthcare workers refer that they caught COVID-19 while working through the pandemic in very difficult and high demand situations. So they feel that long COVID should be recognized in their case as an occupational disease, with all the social security and benefits that those entails. Therefore, we have a healthcare workforce that has been affected and impacted by long COVID, not just by numbers, but also by their ability to work. Thank you.